Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to yet another Tech Rumble. I'm your host, TheJuan&Only, and I'm super excited to bring you the newest edition of the Tech Hell in a Cell. Today we got three brand new combatants that are all hungry to take home the glory. You read the title, you read the thumbnail. Today we're pitting up the entire MacBook Air lineup against one another in this brutal free-for-all. Many of you watching have seen my past battery drain test before, but in case you're new here, you are in for a fantastic treat. I'm going to keep the introduction short this time around, seeing as how most of the rules and settings will be in the video description. If you want a more detailed look at all of the rules and instructions of my infamous drain tests, I highly recommend you click the card at the top right to view my earlier drain tests featured in my official battery drain test playlist that includes my Google Pixel battery drain test, Apple Watch battery drain test, Samsung Galaxy drain test, and so many more. So tech heads and tech enthusiasts, again, thank you for stopping by to witness this spectacular show, and without further ado, let's roll the intro and get started with our official tale of the tape. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening, sanctioned by the Juan&Only Tech Commission, sponsored by the Juan&Only LLC, and the referee in charge of the octagon and doubling as our timer, we have our very own iPhone SE 3rd generation. And now, this is the moment tech enthusiasts watching around the world have been waiting for. Live from the hottest tech channel on the entire internet, it's time! We have 8 grueling rounds for our 3 combatants that will test these MacBooks to their limits. Only one MacBook will remain standing to take home the gold. Pause this video right now and comment down below which MacBook you think will prevail. Each of our 3 combatants will be color-coded, so introducing first, fighting out of the pink corner, a striker holding the mighty M1 chip inside, featuring a 13.3-inch display with an 8-core CPU and a 7-core GPU. Give it up for the MacBook Air 13-inch with the M1 chip that will be all the way to the left. Up next, fighting out of the midnight corner, a judo fighter featuring the impressive M2 chip inside, featuring a 13.6-inch liquid retina display with an 8-core CPU and a 10-core GPU. Folks, give a round of applause for our 13-inch MacBook Air with the M2 chip, which will be the middle laptop. And last but not least, fighting out of the silver corner, a wrestler also featuring the impressive M2 chip, featuring a massive 15.3-inch liquid retina display, the largest we've seen yet on a MacBook Air, featuring the same internals as the Air in midnight with the M2, with the same 8-core CPU and a 10-core GPU. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the new 15-inch MacBook Air with the M2 chip, which will be our combatant all the way to the right. Alright guys, we've been over the rules. The brightness levels all remain the same. I want a fair fight. All 3 MacBooks are hooked up to the same Wi-Fi network. True Tone has been enabled on all. And for a full list of equal settings, please see the video description down below. And last but not least, take a look at the official tale of the tape on screen right now. In a battery drain test, the main things to consider are screen size, chipset, and physical battery size. With our 2 M2 models, the only difference is in screen size and consequently physical battery size. Everything else is virtually identical. Alright ladies and gentlemen, here we go! Round number 1. For this one, as is customary on my channel, consider this round a warm-up round. During round number 1, our 3 combatants get an opportunity to get a feel for each other's pacing. This is the classic standby test and represents real-world usage. There's many times, for example, that your cat knocks over the 5th water bottle off the table for the day and now you gotta go clean it up. Or maybe you gotta go take a big fat deuce and leave your MacBook idling. You know, stuff happens. In any case, this test gave me an opportunity to step out and get some gains at the gym before I had to be stuck babysitting MacBooks for the rest of the day. We let them sit idle for nearly 2 hours, and after getting a good stretch in, after our warm-up round, we arrive at the following figures. All three combatants are still above the 90% mark, which is good considering it's been 2 hours, with the M1 Air in pink coming in at 92%. Whereas the Midnight M2 13-inch in the middle comes in slightly behind at 90%. And our heavyweight, the M2 15-inch in silver, stands at an impressive 93%. This normally doesn't happen, but it's nice to see our big boy starting out with some impressive cardio. Still, this is only the first round and literally anything can still happen. Okay, round number 2. For this one, I wanted to mimic real-world usage with the primary thing most people use their MacBooks for, web browsing. But this specific test is separated into 2 different rounds. One round will be on Apple's native browser Safari, and round 3 will be the same identical test, with the only difference being a switch up in browser using Google Chrome instead. It's long been known in the tech community that Google Chrome tends to sap more juice out of your laptop, given that it uses up a bit more system memory. This makes sense as Apple Safari is well optimized on their own computers. So anyway, I started with 1 tab and every 8 minutes or so would open 2 additional tabs. Eventually, after 90 minutes, I accumulated about 17 tabs open, which is way more than the average person ever needs to have open at one time. If you're the type to have 15 plus tabs open all at once, seek help. So anyway, after our initial 90-minute web browsing test on Safari, these are the results. The smallest of the bunch, the M1 Air, manages to tie it up for first place, coming in at a respectable 83%. Whereas its older cousin, the 13-inch M2 Air in Midnight, is still lagging behind and is showing some holes in its cardio game, officially coming in at 81% after 2 rounds. And like I said, tied for first is our big boy. The gargantuan 15-inch Air manages to be on par with the smaller 13-inch M1 Air, also coming in at 83%. Interesting results so far. However, all are still within the margin of error, and it's still anyone's W to take. Alright, now heading on to round number 3, and like I mentioned, this round is exactly like the prior one, except we switch web browsers and now use Google Chrome. Before the conclusion of the last round, I made sure to take note of which websites I visited just to ensure everything is all on an even playing field. I'm telling you, these tests take a lot of attention to detail and meticulous care is taken to ensure everything is fair. So we open up the same tabs in the same order, and after 90 minutes, unsurprisingly, all 3 MacBooks dropped down more than they did with Safari, somewhat verifying my theory that Chrome does in fact suck more battery out from MacBooks versus using Safari. But ironically, all 3 MacBooks remain in the exact same position, with the M2 13-inch Midnight Air coming in last place for now at 70%, and the other 2 are still tied for first, with both now dropping to 72%. Alright, time to switch things up, and now we head over to our streaming test. Think about it. What's the one thing that everyone loves to do on their MacBook? That's right, log on to Netflix, Disney Plus, or Hulu to watch their favorite shows. It's a shame Netflix has made password sharing a lot harder now, and I'm sure the rest of the streaming giants are soon to follow. Luckily, my little brother catches the Netflix bill every month, and I got him on Apple Music and Hulu, so that way, my family gets to enjoy a broader range of shows and not spend so much on each subscription. So, to add a bit of variance, 2 MacBooks will start on Hulu, streaming It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, a hilarious show my gorgeous girlfriend Gabby put me on, and I'm surprised I haven't watched earlier, and the other is on Netflix, streaming my all-time favorite comfort show, Narcos. The thing is, at the halfway point, so 90 minutes into the streaming test when I have them switch, it's a really close race, with the M1 13-inch Air overtaking the M2 Airs, coming in first for now at 61%. The middle M2 13-inch somehow manages to pick up the pace and miraculously advances to second currently at 60%. And mysteriously, it seems the giant 15-inch M2 Air caught a nasty hook right to the processor as it now falls to last place with 58%. Switching between the two streaming giants eliminates the worry of any device limits and also adds that variance I mentioned earlier. This round is the one that usually truly tests the combatant's lungs and cardio. So after 3 whole hours of streaming, where are we at? Well, ladies and gents, grab your popcorn because things just got crazy. Look at that. Would you believe that all 3 MacBooks are now tied, with all of them coming in at 47%, all officially under half tank? What is this insanity? How could this be? This is setting up to maybe be the fight of the year. Guys, we're nearing almost 9 hours of continuous use and all 3 of these guys recently hit the halfway mark. This is some crazy battery and I gotta give it up to Tim Apple and the gang over at Apple HQ. These are some pretty amazing results so far. Alright guys, round number 5, and for this one, I wanted to do an export test. Now I know not everybody is a content creator, but a good chunk of users will occasionally hop on either iMovie or Final Cut Pro to create a little project here and there. It could be for school, maybe a hobby, or for your job. In any case, I kept the video short at 5 minutes and made the exact same minimal edits to all 3 MacBooks. Then, I ensured that all 3 MacBooks had the same exact compressor settings to export the video out. As some of you may know, this is where your chipset and RAM come into play. The better your chipset, the faster you can expect your computer to render and export projects. Because this is a short project, I felt it represented a real-world example, but trust me, sometimes these Final Cut projects get very long and intricate. As a matter of fact, editing projects such as this exact battery drain test takes hours, sometimes days, just on the editing. So a like goes a far way. If you're appreciating or enjoying this video so far, consider dropping a like as a token of your appreciation. That's all I ask for. So alright, both the M2 Macs exported it slightly faster as expected, and remember, all 3 of these MacBook Airs feature a fanless design. But nonetheless, the Mac still chugged along with the export with 0 hiccups along the way. Now, time for our results. Oh wow, what the hell? Once again, ladies and gentlemen, we are at a stalemate. Just like the prior round, neither of the 3 want to give in and all are showing tremendous heart, with all 3 MacBooks now sitting at 41% after our export test. I really am shocked and don't even know what to say. I would have put some money that maybe the M1 13-inch Air in pink may have come in a percentage point or 2 behind, given that the M2 on paper is technically superior, but nope, it says sight boy and isn't giving up without a fight. We now head into our championship rounds. These next few tests sets apart the children from the adults. Which will prevail? This is starting to be a nail biter. So now, we head into round number 6, our gaming test. Now, while I stand behind my statement that Macs should not be your go-to devices for serious gamers, the occasional casual gaming session should run just fine on these Macs, and even better on the M2 Macs. It's just a little bit smoother with less dropped frames on the newer MacBook Airs that feature the M2. I decided to run through the Asphalt 9 campaign on each machine for a total of 25 minutes per device. That's a cumulative hour and 15 minutes I mindlessly spent playing the same tracks all in the name of science. But then again, I'm not gonna lie, Asphalt 9 is a pretty fun game, especially when you get them 360 off ramps with some nitro going on. So anyway, after the gaming sesh, what are y'all's guesses? Are they at the same percentage mark? Well, short answer, no. The 2 M2 MacBook Airs are tied for first, coming in at 26%, but the smallest M1 13 Air in pink happened to slip up just slightly, coming in 1 point lower at 25%, officially putting it last for now. Maybe it lost its footing, who knows? There's not much time to spare, it's do or die, and if any of these MacBooks want to be crowned champ, they gotta make something happen and fast. Now it's round number 7, it's coming down to the wire folks, and for this one, I decided to run a bit of multitasking plus a charging test using a USB-C to lightning cable to help recharge our referee, because honestly it was starting to get a little gas too. And let's face it, many of us charge our iPhones using our MacBooks anyway, so it represents some realistic real-world usage for the Macs. On top of this, I opened up Think or Swim, which is a web-based platform where you can track stock movements in real time, and additionally, I had a FaceTime call running on each MacBook one by one. So we have a FaceTime call running, a web-based application running, and charging an iPhone simultaneously. A really nice and versatile test that pushes our combatants to their limits. Each MacBook took its turn on FaceTime and charging while looking up stock tickers, and each one did this for 15 minutes each. At the conclusion, all three are now officially under 20%, essentially reaching the red zone. In last place, the pink M1 Air now succumbs to 13%, placing it in last place at the moment. Whereas the Midnight M2 13-inch took a haymaker right to the GPU, as it now falls to second place at 15%. It's a back and forth between our two M2 Airs. It's getting crazy out here. But even though our 15 Air is in first place, it's only in the lead by a very small margin, coming in just 1 point higher at 16%. At this point, it's almost midnight in real life, and it's almost been an entire half day since the drain test started. And now, we head over to our final round. This is it, ladies and gents. Round number 8, as always, we turn on the red lights to turn up the intensity, we dim our studio lights, and we crank up my infamous battery drain playlist and let all three combatants run until each taps out. I'm not gonna lie, I have high hopes for a surprise comeback victory, but it's tough to say. Only 2 percentage points separates third and first place, so literally anything can still happen. I was off to the side during this test watching Narcos for like the 10th time, keeping a close eye on each MacBook. I gotta give it up to all three laptops. Each one is giving it a valiant effort, and no matter what happens, they're all winners in my eyes. Like, come on, 12 plus straight hours of use? That's pretty awesome and goes to show how well optimized they truly are. Sadly, our first soldier falls at 13 hours and 3 minutes, and that is our pink M1 MacBook 13-inch. This was our lightweight and the one with the technically inferior chip, even though the M1 is still a beast. Still though, it poured its heart out in the hell in a cell, and I'm extremely proud of it. And now there were two. We have both our M2 Airs still up and running. However, at the time of the pink M1 throwing in the towel, the middle 13-inch Midnight MacBook now falls to 4%, while the mighty 15-inch in silver sits at 5%. They're neck and neck. It's haymaker after haymaker, over and over. The 15-inch secures a takedown, does a little ground and pound, but both are just swinging, hoping one catches that L. Ladies and gentlemen, our second MacBook that falls is our MacBook M2 13-inch in midnight, coming officially in second place with a time of 13 hours and 27 minutes, not far behind the pink M1 MacBook. It had to tap out because it simply had no more gas in the tank. A valiant effort and a very impressive performance for such a versatile laptop. Which means, tech heads, we have a clear and decisive winner. And new battery drain champ for the MacBook Air line. The mighty 15-inch MacBook Air with the M2 chip finally calls it quits not long after, with an official runtime of 13 hours and 32 minutes, literally only 5 minutes after the 13-inch M2 Air. Like, wow. Guys, once again, give it up to our winner based off of my testing. Both the M2 Airs are solid contenders for having the best battery life amongst the entire airline. But as was shown, it's the 15-inch that reigned supreme, even if it was just by a few minutes. If you like my tech content, don't forget to subscribe and help me reach my dream of hitting 100k subscribers. I still have a ton more MacBook Air content lined up for you guys, so definitely stay tuned. And with that, I'm clocking out for now. If you haven't drank a cup of water yet today, you know what to do. Stay hydrated. It's been a pleasure bringing you all yet another battery drain test. And with that, I'm clocking out for now, but I cannot wait to catch you all in my next video.